Recently I haven't been playing Bee Swarm. Even though I still haven't gotten everything in the game or are even close to, I am finding the game really boring. And it seems other people are too. This has been evident as the number of players playing is only a quarter of what it was at Beesmas, and the fact that there is hardly any YouTube content on the game. Of course, the main reason to this is the lack of updates and a few other smaller factors. In this video I will be showing you the current state of Bee Swarm Simulator. Let's begin. Progression. Some of you are probably confused, so let me explain. The definition of progression is the process of developing or moving gradually towards a more advanced state. It's like going from a noob at the game to getting to mid-game, then becoming a pro. So where is the problem? When you start Bee Swarm you are getting new collectors, backpacks and gear regularly. Going from one item till the next will cost around twice to triple the amount of the item you have now. This continues up until you get past the top shop. After you get to the porcelain dipper, instead of the next dipper, the petal wand, being 2 to 3 times more expensive, it is 10 times more expensive. If that sounds bad enough, compare that to going from the porcelain Porto hive to the coconut canister, which is 100 times more expensive. But this isn't even the big problem. It's the new items. If you want to go from the petal wand to the tide popper or dark scythe, it is over 1500 times more expensive. You see, while going from porcelain Porto hive to the coconut canister is hard, it isn't the only thing you are focused on. You have Spirit Bear's quests and Black Bear's quests. You're also trying to get new gifted bees to unlock the star amulets and much more. Getting to the coconut canister is slow, but you slowly get closer to it as you do quests and find all the gifted bees. But once you finish all the quests and get all the gifted bees and get the coconut canister, the next stage for most people is to choose a hive color and make it, and then to get the next items. The tide popper, dark scythe or gumballer. There are no quests or amulets to get, and the only thing you are working on is your hive. The problem is you are only doing one thing at a time, and just grinding honey for hours and hours until you finish your hive becomes really boring. And there really isn't any point to get these things, because there's no use to them yet other than getting more honey. At Beesmas your goal is to try and complete as many quests as you can, get the Beesmas catalog, get all the new items like the planters, all while slowly building your hive and grinding to the next items in the background of all of it. The progression in the game really slows down after you get to endgame, and this is due to another factor that I will now talk about. It's no secret that this game has a serious lack of updates. Last year, in 2021, the only update we had was at Beesmas. There was not a single update during the year, and I think it's going to be the same this year. We have gone nearly 2 whole years without any updates other than Beesmas, and I think it is time that we need to address this problem. Now we all love Onett, and without him I wouldn't even be talking about this subject. But I ask you this question, during last year, before he started working on Beesmas, what was he doing? Was he working on a new game? Did he have something going on in his personal life? Because from what I can recall, the only thing I had seen him do was create a mesh for a part in the planters. Everyone is always saying that Onett is a solo developer and it takes a lot of work for him to get out updates. And yes, I do agree with that. But I don't think that he was really doing anything last year. During Beesmas last year, Onett seemed to be working really hard on getting the update out in time. Although it also seemed that Onett was really only working on the game just before Beesmas. If Onett had been working on the game the whole year, why would there be so much work needed on the game during Beesmas? In that time, we were getting constant updates in the test realm and news about how the game's going. Whilst during the year Onett was silent. Now this year has been a bit different, and I believe that there has been a few updates on the test realm and some news has come out. But we were promised lots of new gear and quests and other items that were meant to come out at Beesmas and still haven't. Onett said that he was aiming at getting an update out in the middle of the year, but now that's probably not going to happen. And maybe I've been wrong and Onett has been working hard over the last 2 years, but there's too much work. Then the best thing for Onett to do is make smaller updates instead of trying to reach these massive goals that are impossible. So instead of just having a big update during Beesmas, rather 3 smaller updates a year that would keep the game popular and up to date. It would make the community more active, and although they wouldn't be the most game-changing things, it would give players something to do. I remember a few years ago and there was an update that brought the Fuzzy Bee into the game. The only thing added was the Fuzzy Bee, and it was still enough to bring excitement to the community. Or maybe Onett just needs more people working on the game. I know Onett wants to work on the game by himself and let the game just be his vision. But it has come to a point that having more people working on the game to get out more updates would be really beneficial. Hopefully things will change, and this now leads us on to the final point. Bee Swarm Simulator is one of the few games on Roblox that has such a big and long-lasting community. But at the moment it seems that the community is quite inactive. If you search up Bee Swarm Simulator on YouTube, there is hardly any new content on the game. A lot of the big YouTubers have switched their main content to other games. As I've already mentioned before, the player count in the game is only a quarter of what it was at Beesmas. No other games on Roblox are like this, and usually maintain a similar player count throughout the year. The game is becoming quite stale and boring with the lack of updates. So, what will the future bring? Getting an update before Beesmas seems to be getting more and more unlikely. Hopefully soon Onett starts to bring out updates more regularly, or the game's popularity might start declining in the years to come. Although more and more new players are playing Bee Swarm, they are not joining in on the community because the community is becoming more inactive than ever before. Or maybe Onett will drop an update in a week and the game will suddenly be back in its former glory.